Okay, I'm going to be talking about the group of bacteria under anaplasmataceae. It's broken up into two genii, Ehrlichia and Anaplasma. And Ehrlichia is also further down broken into species of Chaffinsis and Ewingi. Anaplasma is phagocytophylum. And in common, they're all obligate intracellular bacteria, and they live in the cytoplasm, as you can guess by the name of anaplasma. And they're in hematopoietic cells, so like granulocytes and agranulocytes, and they're different between the different species. They don't cause a lot of problems on their own, but the activated host immune system causes the pathology of these infections. It's known as the summer flu because you're infected in the summer between the months of April and October due to the vectors being more active during that time. You can diagnose them microscopically by looking at the elementary bodies within the cytoplasm of the cells, but that's not always very possible. So more likely you're going to use serology or a DNA probe test to diagnose. Treatment would be doxycycline because it is an obligate intracellular, and doxycycline is a big hitter on intracellular organisms, and you can prevent with vector control. So we'll talk about this individuals. So Chaffinsis and Ewingi. So the reservoirs are deers and dogs, and then the vector is the lone star tick for both of these, and then it's the human, and then for Chaffinsis, it's monocytes and macrophages that get infected, and for Ewingi, it's granulocytes, specifically neutrophils. So Ewingi has a G in it, and so it affects granulocytes. G, Ewingi, and granulocytes. And then the Chaffinsis will cause human monocytic ehrlichiosis. So that's pretty self-explanatory that it infects the monocytes, and it's ehrlichiosis genera. And then the Ewingi causes human Ewingi ehrlichiosis. Same, pretty self-explanatory. So the symptoms for these are pretty mild flu-like symptoms with high fever, and mostly in children. They can have a late onset rash, leukopenia, thrombocytopenia, and increased serum transmissions or transaminases, and there's a low mortality rate. For Ewingi ehrlichiosis, has very similar symptoms. So we're going to move on to phagocytophylum over here. The reservoir are small rodents, deer, and sheep. The vector is Iodes tick, just like Lyme's disease. And they infect humans, specifically granulocytes. So phagocytophylum also has a G in its name and affects granulocytes. Whereas Ewingi was mainly neutrophils, phagocytophylum does all the granulocytes, including basophils and eosinophils. And that leads to what's known as human granulocytic anaplasmosis. It has an incubation period of 5 to 10 days. Flu-like symptoms similar to the other two. And some of the more severe symptoms are peripheral neuropathies, such as demyelinating polyneuropathy.